Alright, it's very early. It's like 4:40 in the morning. But we're gonna play some Factorio. Alright. Um in between the last stream and this one, I updated to the most recent 0.17 patch. And the most of the changes were cosmetic or UI changes, so won't change the gameplay that much. Alright. So last time we built a large power plant over here. We built sort of a medium-sized iron smelting facility here, some copper facilities here, and circuit production, which is where I am right now. So today's agenda is going to be to go over to this area and lay out the start of the next factory, and then to bring the iron, copper, and circuits over to that area. Okay. So, I want to do a couple things. I want to make some lamps. Actually, I'm going to get some circuits, which ordinarily is not necessary, but I'm going to be building lamps, I might as well. And let's just grab some more circuits now. Alright. The other thing I'm going to need is more power poles, which means I'm going to need more steel and copper, probably. That's probably enough of that, and then steel. Oh. These require iron sticks. Oh, okay, so some recipes have been changed a little bit. Medium copper poles used to just require copper and steel. Now they also require iron. How about that? So let's... When I updated the Factorio version I was running it changed how you remove things from your tool, your quick bar. And it took me a little while to figure out what was going on, but got there eventually. Alright, so if you look at the map, I kind of want this patch of stone and this patch of crude oil to be on the extremities of... Ah, good morning, Ogre. Yeah. Since you're here, I will show you the previous factory that we are very slowly going to supersede. Here it is. We have iron over here and over here, steel, science stuff. Anyway, I don't know how familiar you are with Factorio. So, in any case, we're gonna start the next factory, which is gonna start sort of in this area and run up. We'll see how far into that we get today. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do to define the boundaries of this factory is just like, I use medium power poles to kind of set where things are, so let's just start doing that. If you hold down shift and just sort of run, it'll place power poles at their maximum distance to stay connected. But I don't want to do that. I want a continuous power supply area here. I probably won't be able to use these little iron patches. I'll probably be building other things on top of them. Familiar with the genre? Yeah, that's a fair description. Okay, so the question is that going to be wide enough? I think I'm going to want this, the maximum zoom's there. I think I want this to be about 2/3 as wide as the screen is right now. All right, well, thanks for joining, Ogre. Oh, good, Mastiza is also here. So I'm going to want this to be a little bit wider. In which direction? Okay, so I can't actually keep the stone or the oil out of the picture here, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna I'm gonna make it wider in this direction. This should be plenty wide. Okay. Now I'm gonna start going this direction just to indicate boundaries. And the other thing I do is I use lights approximately every, oh right, this bunch of power poles is not connected to the power grid. Let's just take this down far enough to do that. It's gonna get kind of weird. This is very ad hoc. I'll have to make a better solution to that later. So I just throw down a light like every other power pole, and then when it's nighttime, that provides a good, like, medium range beacon to tell me where the boundaries of the factory are. Now Durga's here, needing my chest. That's good. She's good at Factorio. She'll give me good advice. I think I'm gonna put one more power pole here just to make an even number there. Okay. Okay. Eventually I'll have the ability to clear trees using my gun, which is a little bit more efficient than grenades when you're just talking about like 1 or 2 trees at a time. Since I'm here, I might as well build the submachine gun. Submachine gun is like a pistol, it just fires faster. Okay, that's a good start. So now if we consult the map, we have this kind of pseudo H or I-beam shape. And inside this area is where there'll primarily be belt transport to move materials around, and then on either side of it there will be the actual assemblers and other things that constitute the factory. So one of the first things I have to do is choose where to site the science labs. I think I'm going to put them over here. Does that make sense? Actually, maybe I'll put them over. Yeah, I'm going to put them over here. Because I have the crude oil over here, I want like most of this area here to be set aside for oil refining. So I don't want to touch that just yet until it's time to do oil refining. So science labs can be over here. So the stone here is a little bit inconvenient because I'm going to want to use this stone but so I can't like build inside of it. But I might build stuff over here to the right of it. But we'll get to that eventually. Let's build like, yeah, 10 science labs is a good start. All right. Actually, let's just put the science labs pretty close to the stone, and then everything else that comes after it will be on the opposite side of the stone. That maybe isn't the most efficient thing, but it'll be okay. And now my cats have decided that they might want to start fighting, which I might need to pause and interrupt that. Oh, wait. So again, since I've updated to from 0.16 to 0.17, some recipes have changed. And notably, I can't make fast inserters anymore. Let's see if we can figure out why that is. And there are a bunch of technologies. Okay, so I might need to. Yeah, let's do some basic research here. Let's see if we can figure out how to make fast inserters again, because I do want to be able to do that. Okay, you have to like research fast inserter. Well, let's just go ahead and do that. This won't take very long. Okay. Maybe while fast inserter is being researched, we can. Does this? Yeah. Okay. Opening up the research queue like pauses research, so maybe I'll just let that go. In the meantime, I can build a belt system that will service these science labs. That's okay. I'm gonna want 2 belts on either side of the science labs. Eventually, there will be so many different types of science packs that we need like lots of belts on either side, so we can just place long-handled inserters while we're waiting for fast inserters to be researched, which is done now. Okay. Okay, so we can do that. I think I'm probably gonna want this. Oh yeah, because like because if we go down here, I'm guessing that like all of the what formerly was Science Pack 2 production has stopped because I just don't have the technology for it anymore, whereas previously you were just sort of given the ability to do that. As it is, we have logistics science packs that were previously built, so. All right. I won't worry about that because it looks like the inputs for it are the same, so it's fine. What is this? Oh, that's just lubricant. I don't need that anytime soon. I might as well research the next science pack just because it's nice to have it in the queue or in the. Oh, this is all very different. That's okay. Now Durga has flopped over in a way that. Oh no, I think she's doing fine. Okay. Well. Okay. I might need to manage my cats. Yeah. Okay. Just a second. Durga, you can't be there. Urgh. monitor is trying to like bother Jasper, but between my monitors. Okay, now she's found a different place to go do whatever her cat brain tells her to do. Okay, anyway. Back to business here. Nope. Okay. This will be sort of the initial science lab arrangement. And now we just need to supply power to it, which, yeah, we have to have the power poles. The power poles overlap a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. All right. Now we're just sort of researching sort of catch-up stuff that was introduced with the update from 0.16 to 0.17. Okay, so now past this patch of stone, I want to have the facilities that will manufacture what is now called Automation Science Pack, formerly Science Pack 1, and Logistics Science Pack, formerly Science Pack 2. Which already have some small facilities down there that are doing this, but these will be the ones that feed into the newer, larger science labs. So I do have the means to, yeah, make assembly machine too. So I have 31 of them, which is plenty for now. So let's start with the actual output belt, which I'll put here. And then okay, so these are going to make automation science packs. And this can just go like this. And the input can go in like so. And drop down power. So these probably still require, yeah, just gear and copper plate. I currently have a copper plate production facility. I don't have a gear production facility that's large enough to service all this stuff, so that's one thing we're gonna have to do. Now, I'm guessing, yeah, logistics science packs are made slightly slower than automation science packs, so I'm gonna go ahead and make 8 assemblers that are doing that. So a lot of times you don't really want 2 different types of assemblers feeding onto the same output belt, but because they do reach across each other, that's okay. What am I doing now? Let's go ahead and research battery. We're going to want batteries sooner rather than later. Okay, so it's going to be a long time before this assembler station is actually online, because we have to do a couple things. We have to set up gear production, which gears do consume a lot of iron plates. I'm guessing that has not changed. Yeah, 2 iron plates to make 1 gear, so. But let's pull down the output from this area down to the science lab. My general philosophy with this sort of setup is that there will be a lot of transport belts out in this central area. I want to have commonly used stuff closer to the middle and things that have very specific outputs and inputs can be closer to the edges because they only. So what I mean by that is that, for example, right now, like the only thing that will use science packs is the science lab, and so that's a highly specific use. And so it's fine for me to like put this very close to the power pole. All right. Again, it'll be a long time before this is online. But I think probably the first thing to do is, I think, set up gear production. And gear production will be a major operation at the beginning of the game. So iron production is here, and so it makes sense to have gear production be close to iron production. I was thinking about putting it over here, but this is really far away, so let's put it actually close to science labs. I could also put it like between this area and iron production, but I think... Can underground belts cross each other? Yeah, they can. So, for example, that's a good question, Mastodon. I mean, there sort of is one underground layer, but like, if I do this, then these belts won't interrupt each other, so they can intersect, and that's the primary advantage of using underground belts. One thing you can't do is like, okay, so let's say that I have, these science packs going through this underground belt. I can't put another underground belt directly in line with it, like it, and you can kind of see what happens here. It just takes the first underground belt down and the first one. So like this doesn't work. Like like there are these two underground belts down, and then this one just sees the first one coming out, and like then now this one's doing nothing. It's not connected anymore. So like with that out of the way, these things are back connected again. So that's not allowed. I suppose if you were a fiend, you could do this with two different types of underground belt. This is not encouraged, but is allowed. I don't ever do this because this just looks god awful, but this technically does work. And the reason that works is because fast underground belts and normal underground belts are like different types. But again, one of my design principles is I want the factory under a belt system to be like human readable, so to speak. I want to be able to look at it and see what's going on and not have my brain melt, because I need to be able to see what's going on without having to think hard about it. And if I'm merging underground belts in that particular fashion, then it gets a lot harder to tell what's actually happening. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, but I'm happy to revisit that issue if you have additional questions. It's going to be a long time before I actually have to use these belts here, but I expect I will need to use them. I want to just have the space staked out. Okay, so now let's say this will be where primary gear production happens. And in the early game, you have to spend a lot of effort keeping gear production up, but in the later game, other things sort of outpace it. Okay, I'm guessing I still can't build stack inserters. Well, I can, I just need advanced circuits. That's going to be a long time before I have that. Okay. Just out of fast inserters. Okay. They kind of changed the look of medium electric poles. They look kind of silly now. Because they used to have a little bit more structure. Now they just seem like straight lines. Like big electric poles look more substantial, and they actually have like 4 obvious spread out legs, which medium poles used to sort of look a little bit more like that. But oh well, anyway. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so now we need to bring up iron plates, which let's put it like here. Gear production uses so much iron that you may want to have it have a dedicated iron supply. We'll see if I want to do that. What I'll probably do for now is have it be connected to the same iron plate supply as everything else, and then a little bit later I'll bring up a dedicated belt just for iron for gears and have it plug into this splitter here, which is kind of equivalent to just having two belts that supply iron to the whole factory. Okay, so now it's time to do the possibly kind of boring part of today's stream, which is bringing up the iron and copper from where they're being produced to where they need to be consumed. Okay, so the basic plan here, I kind of want to sidestep most of the resource extraction that's happening here. So the belt's gonna, research is finished. So, sure, it's gonna be a long time before I use any of this stuff. In fact, let's just go ahead and do something that. Oh wait. Oh, that's electric furnaces. I was worried that I now needed the blue science packs for steel furnaces, but this is just for electric furnaces. That's fine. So mining productivity will actually do something now, whereas all the rest of this stuff is just kind of like for much later. I guess I could build. Oh wow, I can build construction robotics with just level 2 science packs. Well, I guess I do need advanced circuits, so it's still going to be a little bit of time before that happens. Okay, well, anyway. Yeah, let's just get the first level of mining productivity. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm going to bring a belt of iron plates up and then over and then up to there. Okay. Okay. And since very little will interact with this, I don't need to leave gaps, which makes this process a lot faster. In the main factory, I want to leave gaps between the underground belts to make it easier to see what's happening, but is that far enough up? Let's go one more. But out here, there isn't that much that's going to need to. Also, I can infer that most of the belts that are coming from the iron generation facility are just iron plates. I might put steel production over there, in which case there'll be some slight possibility of confusion, but it won't be that big of a deal. Okay. All right, so this needs to be, actually, let's just do this. And now we're getting close to the actual area, so there, that should supply iron to that. Now let's actually go ahead and feed these gears into the science pack production. And so I probably want gears to be close to iron plates. In fact, let's have them be like there. Like that. All right, that's where your gear feed will be. And now we bring this up quite a distance, actually. And we're going to want, this is going to be copper and iron gears. I think I'm going to have gears be on the lower feet of this belt, so there will be copper and gears together, which means this needs to be down here. Yeah. All right. And then the next stage will be to bring up copper to do the same thing. Okay. Okay, how are we doing on underground? We still have quite a few underground belts, so one thing we are low on is medium electric poles. We used up a lot of them. I think enough new recipes have iron sticks, or enough recipes have been changed to use iron sticks that I'll probably have to set up iron stick production. Previously in the 0.16 version of the game, almost nothing used iron sticks. Like, I think like chests and lamps did, which was, you never need to mass produce those things. So all right, now, so I have an existing copper line that's going to circuit production over here. And it helpfully already goes around most of the resource harvesting and existing factories. So I think I'm just going to use that existing copper belt line. And this won't be too complicated. I'm just going to take this straight up and then turned, and then it'll be sort of close to the gears and iron plates. And I'm going to have the first couple sections of this be have gaps while it's in the area that will eventually be more circuit production. And then after this, I will just not bother with gaps, but this is sort of the area in which I might need to be doing things with this belt. So this is just planning for the future. That should be enough for now. I may wish that I did that more later, but I think that's a good start. . if we consult the map, just a couple more. Let's say there. How's that looking? Yeah, that'll be fine. The map is pretty good at making sure you aren't building belts that are eventually going to collide with each other, which is an important part of this sort of factory assembly, is that eventually your belt system will get kind of complicated, and you definitely do not want to have your belts colliding with each other. So again, I think I'm probably going to have this be out here. So let's just say here. Yeah. That's where copper belts would be dropping down. Okay. All right, and now we bring it up and feed it into the automation science pack production. Oops. And we need a splitter there. And now just fill in the gaps. Durga is sitting on my computer desk and she's kind of stretching out a little bit, which is like shoving my keyboard and mouse around a little bit, which adds extra challenge. Okay, so now this should, once this all wakes up, so this will enable production of a lot of automation science packs, which means let's check on mining productivity 1 research, because it seems to be a little bit stalled out. Maybe it's just very slow and I haven't been paying attention. But I would like that to finish. Let's see if it's bottlenecked for some reason. No, it's going. It's just very slow. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Now if for giggles, I could pick up some fraction of these science packs and go feed them into the other science area. This is not really recommended, but it won't hurt anything since I'm standing over here anyway. Ordinarily, you don't want to be like carrying around science packs. Like your science arrangement should be automated, but actually I have a better plan. Building more science labs absolutely could speed it up a little bit. I just am not interested in like, so I could build more science labs over here and that would speed it up. I just don't want to spend effort expanding this factory when I'm already like starting to build the next factory. So that's all. That's the oops. That's the only concern there. Okay, so the next thing, is to build the inputs that feed into the automate or the logistics science pack production, which is transport belts and inserters, which means I'm going to need, so transport belts I can build immediately, but inserters will require circuits, so I'm going to bring down circuits like I did with copper. And maybe while I'm at it, I might pick up some more fast underground belts, because 94 is a lot, but I'm going to also be using quite a few. And this will just be a good opportunity to restock on lots of different things. I think I have enough circuit. Well, I won't hurt to grab another pile. Yeah, I think I'm going to want a couple more of those. And then the thing I actually came from here for, which is fast underground belts, and then everyone always needs more gears and iron plates, so let's just build a bunch of inserters. Also, let's build some more assembly machines. Okay. All right, where's a good place to put the circuit line? These patches of stone and various ore are an interesting obstacle. I think what I'm actually going to do is bring the circuit line to like go onto the right of the stone. That'll keep it more separated from the copper line. I expect in the future there will be a lot of copper lines around here, and so keeping the circuits separated from that is a desirable thing. And as with the copper around here, I'm going to keep gaps so that I can see what's going on. Oops. Let's say there. Yeah, this will be good. All right. Yes. Because eventually the long-term plan is to have several different stations manufacturing circuits. So if you look at this, like probably this specific one here will also get bigger by maybe about 50% or so. It might even double, but I'm probably going to have, this. So this right here is the actual circuit production. This here is the copper coil production. I'll probably have those things iterate moving up. We'll see if I care about mining out these copper patches. Copper seems pretty plentiful in this area, so I might not care. But let's say that's far enough. And fill in these gaps. Now we can just pull this up directly. Let's turn the corner here. Yeah, again, I'm going to want to have the circuits be close to the copper, but not super close. So let's just say, actually, let's just put it here. And this is building underground belts this way is like pretty tedious, but it makes it so that this part of the factory is actually like livable. Since otherwise, much later in the game, if everything else is like underground belts jammed right next to each other, you can't see anything. Okay. So now we just need to fill in the gaps here, and then we can resume like building actually interesting parts of the factory. Okay, so now we have circuits being delivered in a reasonable way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make transport belts. Actually, no, I think the first thing we're going to do is make inserters, because ultimately I can handle all different types of inserter production in a relatively compact space relative to transport belts, which, because there are 3 different types of transport belts and also then like 3 different grades, you need a lot of space for all that different kinds of production. Mastaza asks, how large can the world map get? The world map can get arbitrarily large, which is to say you can keep walking and it'll just keep procedurally generating the map. Although that reminds me that I should probably throw down a radar station somewhere over here. Let's in fact have a little interlude of already have 4 radar stations. So what I'm going to do is, so I have a radar there and here. I probably should have put one over by the copper production facility, but I can do that later. I'm going to start at like this corner of the H, and just walk in a northwestern direction for a while. I think finite world map generation is an option that you can check in the world creation screen. You can make it so the map is limited in size, but I don't see any point to that. Yeah, spatial efficiency is primarily a function of, yeah, like the main limitation on the world is your ability to walk around in it, without going crazy. Oh, okay, this is a good, decent place here. Yeah, this is way out. That's fine. I think 2 radars will be plenty. Wow, that's a big patch of copper out there. At 8 million, geez, compared to the 8 million over here. So that's a. It's common for the starting area to have a very large iron and copper patch, but having another 8 million patch out that far is uncommon. Anyway, so yeah, so you want things to be. You can make things very spread out, but if you make things very, very spread out, then you're kind of paying a cost by having to walk around. So, I mean, one reason why I put copper and iron production far away from the actual factory is just because, like, I shouldn't need to be over there paying attention to them very often, at least in theory. So it's okay to make them far away. Okay, so now it's time for inserter production. I am asked as well if you didn't already see it. In the last stream, I built a very large power generation facility, so it has 180 steam engines, which means that it's going to be a long time before am anywhere near full power generation, or anywhere. It'll be a long time before power consumption gets close to maximum capacity. So now these graphs have changed a little bit. Now it's kind of fun that now you can hover. I appreciate that now you can like hover and see what the actual instantaneous numbers are. Although, and also now that there are power units, there used to not be units on these graphs. Oops, what am I doing? Okay. Oh yeah, so now that we have automation science packs being produced at the larger factory, I kind of, it's not that important, but I will want improved bullets just because I use bullets to shoot trees with, which admittedly sounds a little silly, but that's fine. Ordinarily, all this war-making stuff is useful because you need to be able to defend yourself from aliens. Since I have turned the aliens off for this playthrough, it's only going to be trees, which one of the developers has sort of a running gag where, like, they say that trees are the real enemy, which is gives you a flavor for the sort of humor that the developers are into. Mastazal calls my power plant real ultimate power, which, okay, so here, it's over here, so coal is being extracted over here and also down here and is being fed into, these are boilers that are pulling water from this little water patch, and then this big block of structures are the 180 steam engines. This is not the final power generation facility. I'll probably have to expand that a little bit much later from now, but the actual final power generation will be a nuclear power plant that I'll probably be building many streams down the line. Okay. So, time to build inserter production, which will be here. Yeah, this is fine. This can be the inputs. Well, actually, yes. I don't need a huge number of things making these things, but Massazel has another good question: is water a finite resource, or is each patch functionally infinite? Each patch is functionally infinite, which is obviously another violation of like physics or ecology or whatever you want to call it. But just for game convenience, they've made it so that water patches, one pump can pump an infinite amount of water out of a water patch. Which is not to say that water pumps can pump at infinite pressure. They do pump at finite pressure, and so you can build. Well, actually, I can show it on the map. So my 4 or 5 boiler stations here, I've dedicated one separate pump for each one. I don't know how many pumps would actually be required to provide enough water for 15 boilers, or well, this is 15 times 5, so 75 boilers. But I figured it would be more than one, and so I just to keep things reasonably simple. Or do these things require? Yeah, these things have 3 inputs. Okay, so I actually also need the long arm inserters. Yep. Now Durga has like swung her leg all the way over my keyboard. Okay, all right. Like I said, eventually I might need to evict the cat, but. Okay, so this combination of iron plates and iron gears is a common enough ingredient combination that I'm actually going to make a separate belt that just supplies that one thing, that combination specifically, which means the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a splitter here. That just goes like this. And a splitter here that goes like this. There. Okay, so now I've actually, do I need turrets for anything? I don't think, you feel like you may have used to needed turrets for something, but not anymore. Yeah. This is all. Okay. Okay, so now I have a belt that has gears and plates combined. I may regret putting it right in between the gears and the belts, but it looks nice for now. Oops. Well, no, this is fine. Okay, so this one's going to want to be right here. Alright, now we just need circuits down to the same location, which could either be there, or I could just, like, put the splitter there, and I think that's... nope, up one more. So this sort of thing where I like have a pretty long patch of just above ground belt running through this area is something that you have to sort of handle with discretion, by which I mean you don't want to have too many long belt segments running through your central materials handling area. Alright, so not super necessary to have a splitter there, but I'm going to do it. And then that was one thing I didn't do over in gear production. Let's go. Actually, I don't need to do that there. I'll do a different thing later. Actually, so one thing I do sometimes is I want to have a sort of a restock area, which let's go ahead and set that up here. So let's do that, and then out here where the bar, the H is, I'll have it's convenient to put it here because there's lots of easy access to power already. And so now if I need to restock on any really basic stuff, I can just walk over here and it'll be here. This saves me from having to walk to different places. Okay. All right, so so now I want to direct the inserter production down into the science pack production. Now, I think what I'm going to do, this is something I don't actually do very often, is put the belt on to the right of the power pole, which is a little bit discouraged, but this will be fine. Okay, so I put a splitter here because in addition to being used for science research or science pack production, I'm also going to be using these inserters to make other types of inserters, like all these other types of inserters. So, which I kind of want to set up the basic ones now because I will need them. So let's just go ahead and do this. So long-handled inserter just requires inserter plus the thing we just set up, which is iron plates and gears. And actually, fast inserters are the temptation is to like try to set all these things up in a single assembler line, which might be possible, but I'm not gonna get too cute with this. So let's just do this. I definitely don't need more than one assembler making long-handled inserters because while I use them, they are not used for any recipe. At least they weren't previously. I don't think they would start doing that. I can't remember if explosives is actually necessary for anything. Well, it probably is. I don't know. All right. I think what I might do is, okay, so here's the plan. This is going to make long-handled inserters and feed it into a chest there. I can shorten that up and then only need like, yeah, 4 stacks. That would be plenty. And then the other thing I'm going to do is set up, this will manufacture fast inserters, which, oh, okay, will pull off of the gear and plate facility. This is fine. This is where my commentary goes to hell because I'm doing something complicated. But that's okay. And now what I need to do is bring down circuits here. And actually, because stack inserters require advanced circuits, so I'm gonna, oops, that's not pointing the right direction. Okay. All right, so now Okay, so much later, once I have advanced circuits, I will use this particular belt line to also feed advanced circuits into production of stack inserters, which stack inserters work like fast inserters. They just have the capacity to grab more things at once. So they're useful if you need to move large quantities of stuff. Okay. So the rest of inserter production can happen just downstream of this stuff. Because all I really need to be adding is advanced circuits. I could even make a filter inserter production. Do I want to, though? I don't know. I think I'm probably okay with making all my filter inserters myself, because I don't usually need a lot of filter inserters. Okay, so then now it's time to start production of transport belts. So this will be pretty simple by comparison, and once we do this, we will actually have a larger scale production of logistic science packs, which is very good. That's a good milestone for this stream. I'm not going to stop the stream once I have that done. I'm just going to be going until 6:40 Pacific time, which is when I have to like get ready for work and stuff. Let's see, is this gonna, yep, this is perfect. Well, oops. Okay, so now, so we want to have the transport belts move down here. Let's do, this is a little bit awkward. This is slightly ugly, but I'll live with it. That power pole is in a very inconvenient place. This is why you shouldn't do this, but that's fine. Okay. Now that I've done that, what I'm actually going to do is decommission the other science labs and bring them over here so that they're all in the same place. Because right now everything is producing all of the different types of science packs that I need, but eventually I'm going to be producing other types of science packs, and I want all of the science labs to have access to all the various science packs. So what I'm going to do for now anyway is just disable the inputs to this science pack production. I'm going to let it burn through the science packs it's already produced. And then a little later I'll come down and grab these. Actually, or you know what? Actually, let's do this a different way. I'm going to go ahead and reclaim all this stuff. Maybe not the belts, but yeah, I'm impatient, so I'm just gonna. Okay. And then I'll just throw down some chests that will feed this into the belt feeding the science labs. Okay. So this will give me a total of 16 science labs. Do I want to make that around 20? Yes. So this will give me many, many science labs. So one thing I usually like to do is try to keep space to run between things, which means I often don't line things up like this, but you can actually run between science labs, so it's not actually a problem. Let's go over here and set up that feed that I was talking about. I already did this once, so this is basically the same. Oops, same thing again. And do the same thing on this side. This particular chest may never actually feed its material, but that's okay. Okay, so now we have 20 science labs, which is a huge number. And it's important to not get hung up on whether or not you actually have your science pack production matching the capacity of your science labs, because usually science, at least in the way I tend to do this, your science capacity is very high and is also outpaces your actual production. Like right now, like I'm researching technologies I won't have any use for a long time. So, like making sure that science production is matching capacity is not actually a very high priority. I mean, like right now, actually, like I can demonstrate this graphically. If you look at the last 10 minutes of logistics science pack consumption versus production. Okay, so right now, production exceeds consumption. Is that still true in the short term? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Well, this is not proving my point very well, but that's okay. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to set up the rest of. Oops. My cats are bothering each other. I might need to intercede a little bit, but hey, Jasper. Hey, cat. I don't know if that's being picked up on the mic, but Durga's. Yeah, okay. Hold on, just a second. Yep. Hey, Durga. Oh, good. Now Durga's hiding from Jasper in front of the monitor. Well, only partially in front of the monitor, so I can actually keep playing here. If I'm okay with my cats kind of roughing out housing a little bit, but if Durga makes enough noise about it, I will in fact make them stop it. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this now. So I'll be back in just one moment. Alright, I'm back. Jasper's been put on the mild timeout of being put into my bedroom, but it's not that much of a punishment. Oh, I somehow managed to have expanded my toolbar while I was out. I have no idea how that... What is all this? I'm pretty sure that wasn't here before. I must have pushed something. Let's try to learn. If we go into controls, is there a button for like expand or collapse the inventory area? Uh, this is very mysterious. Well, maybe I'll just live with that for a little while and oh, toggle. I don't think it's the toggle exoskeleton. That's weird. Uh, maybe I'll just live with that stuff. I mean, some of these functions are things that I'll want, like the blueprint book or new blueprints. Like I will be doing that later. Oh wait. Oh. Oh, okay. No, I somehow all this stuff got turned on. I can. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. There will be a time later when I might turn on like blueprints and stuff, but anyway. Well, that was entertaining. All right, so now we want to keep doing research, I guess. But what we actually want to do is set up production of the rest of these different flavors of transport belts. I'll probably do, let's see. Oh, yeah, the way that this works is I'm going to probably set up underground belts and splitters because these all feed into each other. So what I mean is like fast splitter requires splitter, fast underground belt requires underground belt. And then, but then fast transport belt will be in a separate area. Okay. If I can get all of this done before in the next 40 minutes, that'll be pretty good. Let's do this. Actually, that's hideous. I'm going to just drop this down one space. This is all. I'm racked with indecision about a decision that is ultimately not very important. Let's just do this. Okay. And actually, these. Oh yeah, actually, I do want to have. Oh, this requires plates and gears. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is this. I'm going to take plate gear feed. Oops, already went too far. That's okay, I can handle this. Now Durga's unclear if she wants to get on my lap or not. Come here, cat. Urgh. Nope, away she goes. Okay, so the way this works is I think I'm gonna have these take 1 second, these take 2 seconds. This is all a little bit funky. I think I will have 2 of these. Actually, no, that makes no sense at all. Okay. Okay. I think this will reach. Yes, if I do this. If I have this thing build underground belts, this thing build fast underground belts. This might be a little cute, but and okay. Okay, so now yeah, all right, this is working as intended. So this will be a little bit slow since I only have one assembler doing it, but most of the time I don't need to be grabbing huge numbers of these things, so. Okay, that'll be fine. And now we do a similar thing for inserters, which require, again, plates and circuits, and then gears and circuits. So this is cliff explosives. However, for this playthrough, I've turned explosives off, so they cannot happen. I will need concrete, though. Okay, so I want to leave a little bit of space here, just in case I need to drop down other materials, but this will be broadly similar to what I just did, except that I need also circuits in addition to transport belts. So for this one, I'm going to do this. And then I'll have circuits coming down on the other one. The other side of that belt is what I mean specifically. Mastazal says, every time I look at the inserters for a while, I think of the fuse device from Resident Evil 2. I have not played Resident Evil 2, but I can imagine. I mean, inserters look like, you know, any old robotic arm, which I have to assume that the fuse device was a robotic arm of some kind. Okay, so here we want this to be, this splitter will need to be like this. I think that's in the right place. It takes some amount of practice to be able to just like eyeball a space and tell whether an underground belt will clear it. And much later, once this area is like a tangled web of transport belts, it'll get harder, but for right now I can manage. Okay. And yeah, okay, the same general system will work. Okay. You make fast splitters. This is a fairly complicated arrangement here. And now we just need power. And I don't expect to use, like, normal splitters hardly ever again. But I want to have some just in case. And then once I have express belts, then express belts and fast belts, I usually make some sort of combination of those towards the end game. But in RE2 in the remake, there was an unnecessarily detailed device and animation for creating a key item that took less time to take, where it was needed. Oh, okay. So like this is sort of a. Yes, adding theatricality by like making it take a long time. I understand. Okay, so this is just like belts and gears now. Okay. And I think this will be the last thing that I need transport belts for, so I think I'm okay to just do this. And this just needs vanilla gears. Whoa, what happened here? I'm gonna blame the cat. I don't know how that happened, but... Alright. Here's something I won't need for a long time, which is rocket fuel. It's like solid fuel, but more dense. Okay. Okay, so once I'm almost done with this part, which actually went a lot faster than I thought it would. So maybe the next step will be to start oil refining. Yeah. Yeah, because this requires more gears than belts, so I do want gears to be on the inside. Basically, like, fast inserters work faster than long-handled inserters, so if you need to be using both, you want the fast inserters to have access to whatever resource you need more of. Okay. Now, this might look a little funny, but what I'm going to do here is have this belt run this way. And the reason for that is that much later, once I'm building express belts will feed off of the fast belts. And, ooh. And so I'll just, these will feed directly into the express belt manufacturing. And I'm way behind on lamp placement. Let's catch up on that. Okay, so here's the last lamp. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to go grab more grenades too to clear out some of this stuff. But anyway, that can wait. Alright, so this is all pretty standard stuff at this point. Okay. So now, wow. Okay. So while I've been doing that, I've maxed out my fast inserter production. That's good. Let's grab like two of those. And how's this going? Wow, this is going swimmingly. Splitters are the things you use the least of for fairly obvious reasons. You only ever need like one splitter at a time, whereas belts and underground belts you can potentially use many all at once. Okay, so that's good. That's a strong achievement. It's looking like so. One thing to note is that all of these things uh, use a lot of gears, and I'm guessing we are now consuming way more gears than we are producing, which isn't actually possible. It just means that we were burning through a backlog of gears. Yes. So in the last 10 minutes, most notably in the last like 3 minutes, gear production has increased to, and now if we look at instantaneous, yeah, gear consumption is very high. It's already crashing because we are running out of the excess gears. So yeah. So this is consumption of the gear backlog, and now it crashes. So I could worry about that. So you can look here and you can just sort of see that actually, like gear production could be a little bit higher. If we want to increase gear production, we're going to need to both increase the number of assemblers making gears and also increase the amount of iron being supplied. Which, tell you what, I'm going to start production of the material of the buildings necessary for oil refining. Um, oh, I see. I need stone bricks. Okay. And then I'm going to walk over and see exactly how I feel about uh, my iron production. It's possible that I might put oil refining on hold because I have a lot of other things that I need to play catch up on. Okay, so there's no backlog of iron here. All the iron that's being produced is going into the belt, and there's no backlog. All the furnaces are working at capacity. And I think I determined previously that this is close to. I could build a couple more furnaces here, but I think the 6 more would definitely strain the capacity of the belt to supply it. So I'm not going to do that. Let's go resupply on things like grenades and steel and also bricks. Because the thing is that like building a new oil refining facility is more fun uh, than increasing our iron production capacity. But it's possible that I will in fact need to do the iron first. But actually, oh, that's okay. Oh, I'm actually carrying tons of iron bricks. Okay, I won't worry about that then. I'm holding a lot of stone though, which there. All right. If I'm going to be doing oil, then I'm going to need a lot of tanks. Oh, portable solar panel. Do I care about portable solar panels? I guess they are required for a lot of other things. So Oh, hey, I can increase grenade damage. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so... so if we look at the map, so we have access to 6 crude oil things down there. We also have some more over here, but I'm not going to build oil refining here. I'm going to start with these over here. Which means I think I need one more. Did I only build 2 pump jacks? Why did I only build 2? I don't know. Oh. Stop that. Eventually I might decommission this entire factory, but it'll be a little while. Okay. I'm also going to need a million zillion pipes, which I probably should build an automated production. Oh, wait, I already have this over here. Eventually I'm going to need like enough pipes that I'm going to have to set up a dedicated production facility for pipes, but in the meantime, I can just take the ones that I've already been producing. Okay. Tanks, I need a lot more tanks. I think I'm going to need like 20 tanks. So. I already built 10, so another 10 tanks. That's enough for now. Okay. So in the medium term, one of my major priorities is advanced oil processing, but that requires chemical science packs, so it's going to be a little while before I have the ability to do that. That will be the basically the first priority once what am I doing? Start research. There we go. All right. Yeah, the first priority once I actually have the ability to build these things, but this requires some production that I'm not able to do just yet, so. Okay. Oh, right, I was going to pick up more hand grenades. I do have, yeah, okay, so. Oil refining involves a lot of new things that I have not done yet, and we'll see how far I get into construction of the oil refinery. If I would like to finish-ish. Oh wait, yeah. Actually, I should probably be able to finish it because I don't have advanced oil refining. I can't do all the complex stuff. What is this? Belt immunity. No, I don't really care about that. Okay. Let's also build more electric poles. Yeah. Ooh. Don't blow up your own self. I think actually I might not have time to do all of this, and so I think probably what I'm going to do instead is get things mostly in place and then start the next stream with the oil refining facility, which is fine. Which means that I'm at a pretty good stopping point. I got a lot done today. Built the start of the new factory. I didn't actually think I would get as far as building all the currently available transport belt stuff. And the fact that I was able to do that is pretty cool. Okay. Yep. Let's end with looking at our power consumption. So I think we started off with our power consumption under 10, and now we're at close to 20, so that's pretty decent. So next time, oil refining, and then probably some fairly dull expansion of iron production. But that's all for now. Thanks for joining.